So another thing we can do with detecting edge points, after we've detected edge points, is we want to link them into continuous chains or lines. And this is helpful for various things we might want to do later, such as finding objects. We want to find, for example, a long straight line that would correspond to the boundary of an object. But one thing you run into is that some edge points along a curve might be weak, causing us to miss them. If the contrast of the object against the background is less in some places than other places, for example, we wouldn't detect those edge points. And that would result in a broken curve. So a solution to this is to use a two-step approach. We first use a high threshold to make sure we capture the true edge points. And then given those detected points, we follow along curves and we accept additional edge points if their magnitude is greater than a lower threshold. So it's essentially a hysteresis effect. So the algorithm is to first find edge points greater than a threshold T high. From each strong edge point, follow the chains of connected edge points in both directions perpendicular to the edge, and mark all points greater than a lower threshold T low. So let me show you in MATLAB this algorithm, the canny operator. It's in this function called edge. So this function, you pass in a threshold, which is optional. It'll just pick a threshold if you don't pass it in. The threshold is actually a two-element vector, the low and the high value. And then the sigma is the sigma of the Gaussian that's first used to blur the image. And that will return a binary image, an edge image, and it will return the threshold that it used if you didn't pick it. So let me go ahead and run that. So I'll read in that image. So that's the input image. Let me shrink this a little bit. And I'll run the canny operator now. And with no parameters, it will just pick the defaults. So this is the edge image, the binary edge image that is found as a result of applying the canny edge operator. And the threshold that it used is this here, 0.04 and 0.1 for the low and the high. And I believe the sigma that it used is 1.0. So I'm going to see what the effect of varying sigma is first. So I'm going to have a loop here where I loop over sigma. And I'll start from a sigma of 0.5. So this is a sigma of 0.5. This is a sigma of 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5.0. So at this point you can see that we're not just detecting very much structure at all. We're just detecting the gross outline of the house. Okay, let's look at the effect of varying the threshold now. So I'm going to loop over the threshold. This is a very small threshold, so I'm picking up lots of things. So this is a higher threshold, so I'm keeping the sigma fixed and now just accepting only strong edge points and even stronger edge points. So as I increase it, you can see that many of the weak edges are now gone, and I'm just left with the very strong edges. And finally, I'm going to show you the difference, the effect of using the two thresholds. So if I just used the same threshold, let's say the T low for both low and high, I would pick up too many edges. If I used T high for both of them, then I miss too many edges. So let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let's see here. Actually, let me go with a T high of 0.12 and a T low of 0.04. Okay, so I'm first going to use the case of T low and T low. And we'll say with 1.0 here. Now this might give me an this gives me an error because it wants the two thresholds to be a little different. So I'm going to add a teeny bit, to the upper one. Okay, so here you can see we're picking up many edges, probably some that we don't even care about, such as all this stuff in the grass here. Okay, now I'll run it again with T high. Okay, so now, we lost the stuff in the grass, but we're missing a lot of stuff, a lot of detail in the house here. So, do I still have that image? Well, let me run the image again with both low and high. Yeah, so here is with the two thresholds where we're using the hysteresis. Here we've lost the weak edges in the grass, but we're still picking up the detail of the house, even though it was less strong edges. So you can see the advantage of the two thresholds.